Welcome to Exodus. We are in chapter 3. Moses is an outlaw. He has headed to the hills. He's 3 days away from Pharaoh and Pharaoh's people. He's hiding in Midian. He's become a shepherd. And now we pick up the story one day when he's driving the sheep. And Moses was herding the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, priest of Midian, and he drove the flock into the wilderness and came to the mountain of God, to Horeb. The Lord's messenger appeared to him in a flame from the midst of the bush, and behold, the bush was burning but not consumed. And Moses thought, let me turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush does not burn up. And the Lord saw that he had turned aside, and God called to him from the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses, here I am. And he said, come no closer. Take your sandals off from your feet, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. But I am the God of your father, of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look on God. And the Lord said, I indeed have seen the abuse of my people that is in Egypt, and its outcry because of its taskmasters. I have heard, for I know its pain. And I have come down to rescue it from the hand of Egypt, to bring it up to a land that is goodly and spacious, to a land flowing with milk and honey, to the place of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites and the Hivitites and the Jebusites. And now look, the outcry of the Israelites has come to me, and I have seen the oppression with which the Egyptians oppress them. Now go, that I may send you to Pharaoh, and bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. As we listen to this, just pick up on the story. Moses is a shepherd. He's gone to the Mount of God. Now think of what has happened. He's gone from the city to the country, from the urban center to the wilderness. He's gone from the overflowing waters of the Nile to Horeb, and Horeb means dryness, parched mountain. There, on the top of parched mountain, there's something strange that he has seen. It is this bush burning but not consumed. He hears a voice calling to him, and he decides to go follow and see what this mystery is all about. He gathers around the fire. Think about fire. What is it about fire? It attracts us, and yet there's boundaries. It's something that also we fear because it can burn us. This is an image of the holy, something that attracts us and yet has boundaries, that draws us near, that tells us, no, we cannot come any closer. It's like looking over a cliff, where you look over that cliff and it's so beautiful and you see, and yet that pit in your stomach happens because you're terrified of what can happen. There's something about God that has these mysterious boundaries and yet attracts us and draws us near. What are the experiences of the holy in your life? Where has God called you? And how have you responded? We have Moses' story here, and it is a story that is definitive for the people of faith as they come to understand who God is. And Moses said to God, who am I that I should go talk to Pharaoh and that I should bring out the Israelites from Egypt? And he said, for I will be with you, and this is the sign for you that I myself have sent you. When you bring the people out of Egypt, you shall worship God on this mountain. And Moses said to God, look, when I come to the Israelites, and when I say the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they say to me, what is his name? What shall I say to them? And God said, Eyeh Asher Eyeh. Now here we have a name. Moses is someone who is fearful that he should go talk to Pharaoh because, remember, he's a murderer. He's someone who's on the lam. He's a convict on the run. And yet here is God calling to him to be the one to go confront Pharaoh and to set his people free. Moses says, "Who will I say has sent me?" And God gives him this name. Scholars have spilt rivers of ink writing about this name because this name itself is so filled with mystery. The same name usually translated, "I am who I am," which is static and doesn't really get the fullness of what this name is about. This same name means, "I will be who I will be. I will cause to be what I will cause to be. I'm the one who brings into being. I am the one who endures." There is a sense of freedom and creativity and dynamism in this enigmatic name of this God who will not be captured, this God who will not be reduced, this God who will bring freedom. If Moses will follow, and if the people will follow that call that Moses gives to them. That's the story of Moses and God's people. And it's a question that God puts to us. Are we ready for a God of freedom who might bring us into a new world, a new way of being, a new land that is filled with a sense of blessing? The question of Exodus is our question. And so that's why we are invited on this journey into God's future as we listen to God's Word. Join us next time as we continue on this journey of freedom in the story of Exodus.